finally found my channel locks. It was funny because they were right where they always are. I just couldn't see them. I'm going to depressurize this thing, and basically what I'm going to do is just take a look and see what it needs. I don't see any fuel in it. I know this sounds silly, but yeah, it's empty. There's no fuel. Let's take a look at the cap. Look real close at the ring around the cap on the inside. So it'll probably need a new cap. Let's take a look a little further. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this generator off, and in an effort to work on this thing. So I'll be right back. Okay, I'm going to start taking this thing apart. I'm just going to take this generator nut off right here. What my objective is to kind of go through this system and just see what's really broken and what needs repaired, and hopefully I can fix this thing. Okay, my adjustment, oh, it is connected. Okay, there. Let's come to this side. 2 little screws here. These are Phillips screws. Take these babies out. For those of you who have never worked on a Coleman stove, no fear, folks. Okay, I've worked on them all my life. I've had many of them over the years, so there's no problem tearing into this thing. Basically what happens is when this bracket comes off, this generator will come straight out, and it kind of comes off to the side. Now you'll notice that there's this little very thin wire inside. See that wire that comes out of the generator? I just kind of want to inspect that. I'll set that aside for now, but let's not forget about that. This can come right off. This is our pot support. We can straighten this right now. Try to get it straight. From here, I have another Phillips screw. I'm going to take the burner head off. You're probably wondering, why do you have to take all that stuff apart? Well, my plan is hopefully to take this stove apart to the point where I can repair this dented up stuff. See, there's the burner head, the heat deflector, there's my little rings. Those are all separate. That's basically what puts out that flame, that cool looking flame. So I don't want to lose those. That's my heat deflector. And this one screw right here will make this at least loose enough. I don't even think I'm going to need to do anything I don't think I'm going to have to do anything major. And you know, it looks like I might just be able to bend this stuff by hand. It's pretty thin. This was a fairly light duty stove, so I'm going to get a small pair of lineman's pliers in hopes to straighten some of that. You know, when I was looking at the item on eBay, you know, I think people weren't bidding on it because they were afraid of all the denting and stuff that they saw, and I think they were kind of nervous about that. But to me it was like, wow, that's just something very simple, something cosmetic that I can probably work on. And you know, I picked it up for $17.50 plus $5.50 shipping. You know, even if I can bend this out, even if it's not the original factory shape, that's okay. As long as I can get it where it looks somewhat decent and does its job to deflect the wind, that's really all it's for. It's not like any high, you know, there's not anything supporting, or it's not, it doesn't, the only purpose that this serves really is a wind block. So I'm just kind of going around with my pliers, you know, so it's not like there's a bunch of weight on this part of the stove or anything like that. It has nothing to do with the operation of the stove, and I knew that when I was looking at the item, and that's, again, that's probably why I won the bid. And I'm just kind of pushing, just trying to straighten this baby up a little bit. Nothing too crazy. If I take this screw out, it doesn't really do anything because this whole assembly has to come out, and then which would be these two side screws. Then I could take this off, but it's riveted. So see those rivets under there? Let's see, where's my pointer? See those rivets? Where are they? Right there. See, I can't get in there because there's 4 rivets. So I'm just going to have to kind of do what I can by hand. Make the most out of what I got here. Yeah, I'm a pretty resourceful person, and you know, I don't care if it's got a couple little flaws, you know, in how it looks. Not that big of a deal to me. I'm going to go ahead and service the pump real quick too, so let me grab some needle nose pliers. So to service the pump, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get that little arm out there, pull this baby straight back, unhook, and let's pull the pump out. Let's take a look at the plunger. I don't see nothing too bad. How do we look inside the pump? Not too bad at all. I don't see any scoring or anything major in there, so things look good. Let's go ahead and take our 3-in-1 oil. Just put a couple drops of oil on the pump here. Nothing too crazy. We're just going to bring this thing back to life, hopefully. A little bit of oil. We'll carefully put that baby back in. Line up our keeper. Let's put that back. Hopefully that's all we're going to have to do to the pump. So I'm going to line that thing up. Get that. Now let's pull. Bam. Does it lock? Does it unlock? Yep. How does it feel? Feels good. Okay, let's bend this a little more. Upward. Oop, not that much. Something about like that. You know, I don't want to go too crazy, but kind of using the table as a reference here to kind of get it somewhat straight. Again, it's more of a cosmetic thing than anything. So I think we're looking good so far. Let's take a look at these legs on the bottom and see if they fold. Kind of tight. Kind of real tight, actually. That's okay. We can deal with that. They're not broken or anything, so here comes our friend some oil. Put a little oil on those babies. Hopefully we'll bring this stove back to life. So let's work those in and out. Oh yeah, much better. Look at that. Hello, oil. Thank you, Mr. Oil. Look at that. Wow, those turned out good. Okay, wow, check that out. Those operate very well now. Okay, what now? Let's go ahead and start putting this burner assembly back together. I'm going to take our flame spreader, and it just sits right here. It's not anything specific. There's nothing that holds this flame spreader on. But what does get held on is this piece right here. Okay, this is those little pieces. Don't lose them. But I'm just going to set them right on top. And I know this sounds funny, folks, but I'm going to get some nail polish here. Shake this up, and what I like to use this nail polish for the lack of a better term, is Loctite. Okay, so when I put my screws and things back in there, I like to put a little nail polish because it works as inexpensive Loctite. So let's get my screwdriver, and it's not like permanent grade or anything. It's just it just kind of holds things together. Okay, so we're going to go there, go right there, and let's put this screw right down in the middle. Put this thing right back together. Now, when I'm putting these screws back in, I want to make sure that you guys understand that there's nothing going on that's like got to be gorilla tight or anything. Okay, nothing has to be crazy or anything like that. Okay. Looking at that, things look good. Just kind of checking it out to see how things are bent. Just trying to get a reference. There we go. Let's give it one little more snug. Nothing too crazy. There we go. Now, remember this little wire that goes in the generator? I'm just going to take a little tiny bit of oil. In fact, I'll put it on my finger here. I'm going to run that wire through that oil just real quick. Now on the generator, I have the end that has the jet right here, and I have the other end that has the flared fitting. And inside that flared fitting, you can see there's a little hole in there. I'm just going to feed this wire right back into that little hole. Now hopefully I can capture this on camera. It's kind of hard because I got to look in there with my eyes. Now I'm just going to feed that wire back in. It has to go all the way around the generator. I feel some debris in there, so I'm not going to force it because I don't want to bend the wire. Okay, I'm back, folks. I had to take a quick pause because I heard the school bus coming. I'm going to just kind of feed this wire up and down. Yeah, there's a lot of debris inside of there. So, let me go grab something and I'll be right back. Okay, folks, I have some penetrating catalyst here. This is PB Blaster. If you don't have this, you can probably use something like WD-40. I'm just going to run a little squirt down into the generator here to kind of help this little wire piece go in. Hopefully that penetrating catalyst will get in there. It's kind of like threading a needle when you find that hole. So I just got to feed this through. There, oh yeah, that's much better. We still got a little hang up, but I don't want to push too hard. That's the key, folks. Don't want to push too hard, because if you do, you'll bend this wire, and you don't want to do that. So I'm just kind of working it in and out, hoping that it'll go a little further each time. Not putting a lot of pressure or anything like that. I'm just there it went. So it had like a little spot that it was hanging on. Just kind of pushing. I can't say it too much, folks. You don't want to push it too hard. Just nice and mild. This is a point where you got to be like real patient. Take your time and just kind of work it in and out, and it'll push that stuff out of the way. So I can tell you that this fuel line was probably a little bit corroded, but that's okay. We're gonna hopefully fix that. Just gonna keep working on it, and I'll be right back here in a second. Okay, my cat's underneath the camera, that's why I had to pause there for a second. So I'm just going to hold this, and I'm just going to undo the jet here very lightly. Don't lose this jet as you're unscrewing it. So you set these tools down. I'm going to undo the jet here a little bit because that jet might be backed up a little bit. And let's come back to feeding this through. Hopefully we'll get this fed through. I can feel the stuff that's caught up. Now you could buy a brand new generator if you want, but I don't think that's necessary for me. Yep, I can see the needle barely poke through. See it sticking out of the tip right there against my finger? Hopefully you can see that. Right there. That's it. So that means we're through. In the meantime, I'm going to put a little of this PB in the back side here, kind of in the jet area. And let me get this jet. And what I'm looking for is I'm looking through this hole to see if I've got aerospace through there. I should, but I'm just going to double check it here with something. Have a small piece of snare wire. Hopefully this isn't too thick, but I'm going to just see if I can poke a little wire through there. Yeah, it's too thick. Bear with me, folks. Okay, I'm back. I have a small cleaning tool that I use on my Svea 123. There we go. We're able to stick it right in the jet there. So I know that I don't have anything held up. So I can go ahead and put this jet back on. Don't need any Loctite or anything like that on this. This is all brass fittings. And even if it does leak a little bit, it's not that significant of a deal, because we're going to be blowing that into the stove anyway. So I'm tightening this up just snug. No Gorilla Tight here. Now let's take a look. Right here, where's my pointer? Right here you have a small hole. See that small hole? What I need to do is I need to latch this little piece into that small hole. So let me pull it out just a tiny bit, just like that. See how I just barely pulled it out? So I'm going to run that through just like this. See that? I made a connection there. From there, I'm going to run this nut all the way around and just mildly connect this. Doesn't have to be tight right now, because what that does, I forgot to show you why. Let me back up. When I turn this lever, see, that goes in and out. This goes in and out. And that's what I want. That's how I control my flame. So again, I'm going to make the connection. Just slowly tighten this down. It doesn't need to be tight yet. And I want to make sure that everything moves inside. There's nothing binding or anything like that. Just want to feel everything feels good. This needs bent back a little bit. Okay, that's the off position. Now before we put this across the top, we need to make sure that this pot support is stable, which it is. We're just going to kind of lift it right on top of the pot support a little bit. You know, if you can kind of shimmy this stuff, kind of get the pot support, you know, started, or whatever you need to do to get this thing together. Okay, you just don't want to manhandle stuff. You just want to kind of nice and gently. Now you see that we're kind of hung up here. I just need to push it back a little bit. Nothing too crazy. Just kind of lift this thing. There we go. Now this will fall right into that hole. Boom. That's what we want right there. Now this pot support needs to be in a position just like so. There's our pot support system. We have this in the hole. There's our date stamp, March of 1990. Cool. Now these two screws are basically going to catch the back of this, and they're going to hold that baby in. Hopefully I could show you that. I might have been off camera. So they're just going to catch that and hold that baby in, just like so. So let's come back. Get a little bit of our so-called Loctite onto the tip of our screw. So if a cat jumps up on my bench, don't freak out, guys. My cat is like all over my bench right now. So there we have it. You don't want to tighten these super tight. We don't want to strip that metal. Okay, you just need to snug it up. Doesn't need to be crazy. Don't worry if it's pink. Pink is good. Pink means that I know that I've already worked on it. Okay, let's get this other one right there. Nice and snug, nothing crazy. Find my rag, put this away, and I'm just going to wipe off the excess. Anything that's excessive. There. Now, coming around to this part, I'm going to just snug this up a little bit. Doesn't have to be crazy. See, it was still finger tight. Snug that up. It's a flare fitting, so you don't have to go gorilla on it. Just snug. Okay, now let's talk about this fuel cap and what we can do to fix that. Okay, right now I have a piece of inner tube, and I believe if I catch that corner right there, I think I have enough left that I can make a small gasket. So let's try that. Let's just kind of cut this down. I'm making sure that I'm not being too skimpy with it. But we're going to just try to make a nice little round, somewhat round cap anyway. And what this will do is this will just buy us time to keep this thing sealed up until we can get a new cap here delivered. So we're just going to sit that down in there, and that looks good. Now I'm going to put some fuel on the stove. The fuel that I'm going to be using today is just regular unleaded gasoline. When it comes to using these stoves, if you're going to be using gasoline, I recommend that you buy the lowest octane gasoline that you can find. Okay, you don't want anything high octane, because those high octane gasolines, they have a lot of additives in them, and they will give your stove a lot of impurities and problems and things like that. They don't burn very clean and things of that nature. That thing was thirsty. Let me go get some more, because this little fuel bottle ran out. That was only 11 ounces. Okay, I have more gas here. Sorry about that, folks. I hope this video is not dragging on too long. I'm just trying to show you everything. There we go. I could hear it. Let me get my rag ready, because when I pull this funnel out, I have a feeling I'm going to have a little bit of leakage. A little bit. Not too bad. You can see the fuel is right up there to the top. Alright, let's take our cap. Let's put our cap on. Okay, now let's check our lighting lever and see how that feels. Feels like it's turning pretty good. Okay, everything feels okay so far. Let's try our pump. I'm going to give it 30 pumps. Lost count there. It felt very loose. The pump felt very loose. Let me see if I had any pressure. Yeah, I had a little pressure. Okay, it just felt like it wasn't doing anything. Bear with me, guys. I'm just going to bleed off the pressure so I can count my pumps here. Okay, I don't want to over pump this thing. So we'll use some of that gasoline to kind of clean it up. Might as well use it for cleaner while we're in here since I spilled it. And that little piece is broke, the part that would hold the thing, so I'm just pull that off. I don't think I need that anyway. Make sure that's closed, off position. Let's try that pump again. I'm going to give it 30 pumps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, I'm going to take a quick break. I'm going to clear my bench, turn some of these lights off, and we'll fire it up. See what happens.